Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Susan Posnock, and I'm Director of Public Affairs and Education for Jewelers of America. Thank you for joining us today for Jewelers of America's Supplier Showcase webinar series. Today's webinar is being presented by WJewel. Before I turn it over to Ishal from WJewel to get the webinar started, I want to let our attendees know that if they have a question during the webinar, they can type it into the Zoom Q&A box, and we'll be monitoring those questions throughout the session and any at the end. Also, today's session is being recorded and will be available on Jewelers of America's website in the next few days. Now, I'll turn it over to Javid. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. In case you are wondering what I look like, this is what I look like. It's nice meeting you all. Let me share my screen and we get the session started. These are our contact information. Feel free, as it was mentioned, to just ask any questions you might have, and we can get started. So let me start by, should we wait a couple of minutes until everyone else shows up, or should we just get started? I mean, okay, I guess we.
I think it's fine. You know, we're going to be recording the session, so anyone who is unable to attend will be able to watch the recording. So,
all right. So our software, WJewel software, is a complete package. What it means, it will handle all of the aspects of your jewelry store, starting with sales, layaways, special orders, gift cards, appraisals, repairs, purchasing, buying gold from your customers, trade-ins, and inventory, tagging, barcoding, pictures, all of that is included. We also do things that some of the other POS software, jewelry POS software, may not do. For example, you can get in consignments from your vendors, and you can keep track of them, and you can report to your vendors when they are sold. But also you can give out memo to your customers if you wish to do so. We also do pro forma invoices that if you ship internationally, you do need pro formas. Included is manufacturing aspects. If you are creating a piece, either for a special order or just for your inventory, you can keep track of it and keep track of it in the shop, your shop, who is working on it. First, it went to Albert, then it went to Joe, and at the end, when it's ready, it goes to the customer. So to show you how a sales works, you either scan or you type in your item number, you enter the price, then you add the customer details if you want to. This customer has a store credit with us, and they also happen to have some loyalty points with us. So it's giving you a warning. If you want to use those, just be aware of that. That's their name, their address. Next is, I say how they paid for it. And that's it. We are done with making a simple sale. And then it prints the invoice. To print invoices, you have a few different options, and we can set it up either way. What you see here is meant to print it on a perforated paper, 2 copies side by side. Obviously, at the top is your name, your logo. Next is your customer information, a small picture of the item, the details of it, and then how it was paid. This is, as I said, it's the simplest thing. Right there, you can also text your customer that thank you for your purchase, and click here to leave us feedback if you want to. Everything in our system can be printed, can be sent to Excel, can be emailed, or sent to PDF. Now, to do a bit more involved sale, I can explain to you more, is that a couple of things. You can, if you want to, you can use a scanner to scan the back of your customer's driver's license. and we capture the name, their address, if you want to, the driver's license number, date of birth, and save all of that for you. That saves you time of typing in all that information. Just scan the barcode. It literally takes 1 or 2 seconds to grab all of their information. If you have a trade-in, you just type it in, the amount of trading you are giving to the customer, description of it, you can take a picture of the items that you are purchasing, and that's that. You're done with that. Let's say your customer says, I'm going to pay you $1,500. As you can see, the total is $1,650, including sales tax. But they say, I'm going to pay you just $1,500 or $1,400. And that includes the sales tax. I'm not going to pay you sales tax on top of it. So I just put $1,400. I say this is tax included. And what happens is we are going to reverse calculate it for you so that your total becomes $1,400. If an item is not taxable, for example, it's shipping out of a state, just mark it as not taxable, specify the reason for it not being taxable, and that way, you can do it without sales tax, or if it's, let's say, being shipped out of a state or what have you. Salesperson who will get the commission on this, indicated here, it can be shared by up to 4 salespeople, each invoice. And either you can say that they get 50-50, let's say if it's 2 of them, or you can specify the percentage. One of them gets 80%, the other one gets 20%. We calculate the commission for you in many different ways. It can be just 10% straight of their sales. They get just 10% commission and that's it. Or it can be that they get 10% on the first $50,000 of sales in a month. And after that, they get 12%. It can be done that it's based on the discount they give. The more discount they give, the less, percentage, a lower percentage that they get. If an item, they are buying something that you don't have it in stock, just say special order. Next, specify who you will be ordering it from, and then enter either the manufacturer number or your item number if you used to have it before, and then all the other details of it. Let's say it's 18 karat and they want it size 6. And when you promise them, center stone dimension and the selling price, and then the description of it, anything else that you want. There is a place where you can go and look at all of the special orders that you had, and then you can order them right from there, from your vendor. We will show you all of the open special orders, and you order them from the vendor. We can even separate them for you by the vendor. Okay, these 5 items go to a Namdar, that's so that it is 8 items go to Gabriel and Company, so on and so forth. When you receive the items from the vendor, as you are entering the vendor bill into our system, you can also say this belongs to this order. So we right away, we match it with that sale. And that way, the cycle is done. You can also text the customer right there that their order is ready for pickup. When there's a special order, they can either pay for it for full if you want to, or they can pay partial. When you are looking at your special orders, you also see how much of the special order is paid for, so that you may decide that if they just pay 10%, maybe it's not worth it for me to order it. Sending it to the shop. I just bought something, and they just bought something, but I need to size it. So I can say that this is going to the shop. What happens is it will show up here that tells me, okay, what is the shop supposed to do? I can describe it here. They're supposed to resize it and save. When I save it, it's going to give me what's called the shop job bag. Job bag, the idea is you attach it to the job. It has the barcode, it has the picture of the item, and it also has the description of what needs to be done. And at that point, you just use the job bag to follow the job through the shop. Keeping track of everything that you did for each special order. Also, if you just created the piece yourself, you can keep track of all the things. That, for example, from my lot number 1, 2, 3, which happens to be my Mellies, I took 10 points of diamond to make this. And I also had to pay the CAD guy $100. And that way you keep track of all of the costs for the piece when it's created. Layaways, create a layaway, take a deposit, then get a list of all of the layaways that are, you can even get a list of layaways that are past due, which means, let's say, which layaways the customer has not made a payment on it for the past 30 days or 45 days. So you can either email them, call them, or text them and ask them for a payment. The customer comes, they make a payment, just you add the payment, and when the payment is full, you can say that it's picked up, or you can say that no, it's not picked up, even though it's paid in full, and then just process the layaway. An invoice, by the way, can be paid by part cash, part credit card, part finance company, or any combination of these. You can also sell gift cards and later use the gift cards to make a purchase. Or when they return something, give them a store credit and then use that store credit for purchases. Any gift cards and any store credit, you can see the whole history of them. Okay, gift card was $1,000. On such and such date, they came, they bought something for $300, so $700 is still left open. Memos, if you give out memos to your customers, you can always see what items are open on memo. And when you see which items are memo, you can also say, okay, the customer is keeping it, invoice the memo. Or customer has returned it, so we can just come back and you return the memo. And again, the original memo stays in the system, so we have the history of it, but you can also see how much of it is left, what happened to this. I sent out 3 pieces on memo. It shows that one was returned, one they kept, and one is still open on memos. To add repairs, first thing is you add a customer, you pick a customer if they are already in your system, or you can add a new one. Here, you either can add a repair code, and repair codes, you can set them up any way that you want. I have, for example, set up that BAT means change battery, and I've set up the prices. What is the regular price and what is the rush price? So it shows it to me, and I say this thing, it shows it to me, I can change it. If I also want to add some other note here that, for example, fix the band, I can also add that and do $30, whatever it is. And then if they are giving me a deposit, okay, they are paying me $10 cash for now. It can be also taxable or not taxable. Right from here, you can take pictures, as many pictures for a repair job as you want. You can have from the side, from the front, or zoom in whatever needs to be repaired. It's going to be printed on the repair claim that the customer gets. It's also going to get printed on the job bag that your jeweler gets. Right? Now I say save it, and it's going to give me 2 printouts at this point. One is the repair claim, and one is the job bag. Repair claim, just like invoices, can be printed on perforated paper, which is it prints 2 copies side by side, or it can be printed on a full sheet. You can also use those receipt printers, like the ones that they have in, I don't know, CVS or whatever, 3-inch wide. Whichever you want, you can set it up for you, any of those. So the repair claim, if I had taken any pictures, it will show them here, picture of the item. It gives me all the details, how much they paid, what the balance due, so they pick it up. This is what the job bag looks like. Again, the pictures would be here. All the details that I wrote are here. Then is the job due, so on and so forth. Shop control is that you keep track of a job. Where is it? Who is working on it? You scan the job bag. Okay, it's going to Joe. And when Joe finishes it, you scan it and you say, okay, now it's going to Albert, if you wanted to, for example, for polishing. And then when you take it back from them, now you can take it back and you say, okay, add it to my stock, or this is for my customer. So again, you can email right from there or text the customer right from there to come pick it up. Buying scrap gold. First thing is, it tells me that I don't have today's gold price, so it's going to get it for me from the internet prices of today. gold price today is $2,012.40. If you prefer to enter it manually, it's up to you. Am I buying it by grams or by penny weight? Now I say that I'm buying 100 grams gold. I think it's 14 karat, but I have set up my parameters before that can be adjusted. I have said that if I put that 14 karat, really pay them for 13 karat because I'm not sure how close it is. Also weight reduction, I put in 100 grams, deduct half a gram from it. I know that I'm just going to get 98% back from the refinery. And I also want to make 50% profit. All of these parameters, you can set them up. Your salespeople will not be able to see these if you don't want them to see it. You just set it up and they won't be able to see this. What they'll see is that the final price they're supposed to offer is $1709.90. You negotiate with the customer. If you want to change it, you change it to whatever price you want to pay them. Next is you say how you are paying them, by check or by cash, or you want to use it as a trade-in. You have the three options: cash, check, or trade-in. Take a picture of the items, take a picture of your customer and their driver's license and all of those, and you get a receipt. Whatever you bought, there is a place where you can go and process it, such that when you purchased all of these, it won't fall through cracks. You see the items that you purchased, all of them, and to see that, if I don't remember, by the way, where an option is, just type it up there and we will find it for you. To process a scrap gold that we find, I forgot where it is, so I just type it there. It shows it to me. It shows me all the scrap gold that I bought. I have the option of either adding it to scrap, which means I have to send it to refinery, or I can say add it to my inventory. This is good enough that I can just polish it and put it in my inventory. If I say add it to my inventory, it's going to ask me for the new inventory number. And the new inventory number, either the system assigns it for you, or you can assign it yourself. You can also say, you can mark it if you received it or if you did not receive it. If you, let's say you just want to say that I received it, but I haven't decided what to do with it, I can just say that I received it. That way you can always see which items you did not receive from your salespeople. So again, the whole idea is the security and that whatever you paid for does not get lost. Returns. Customer returns something back to you. You can refund them either to their credit card or pay them cash or give them a store credit or however you want. Next thing is a customer walks in and you talk to them about what it is that they would like to buy, but they're not ready to buy yet. So you enter the item, you put the description of whatever it is. If you want to take some pictures of it, you take pictures of whatever item it is that you talked about, and you also mention here what price it is that you did. At the bottom here, you can add as many notes as you want. Okay, the first note is right now, today, the logged in person was admin, so that's who created the code. Now I can put as much notes as I want, and anytime I go back in here, I can see the note, and for each note, I can double click on it. I have plenty of room and I can take a picture. So let's say I can take a picture today. Next week they come back, I take another picture of whatever we talked about, so on and so forth. At the end, I have to specify what's going to happen next. They will come back. That's what they said, will come back. Or if you want to just, if they are going to buy the item, we are going to convert this into a sale. If they say, okay, we'll call you back, we check mark it as they'll call us back, or we will call them. If I say we will call them, it's going to ask me, okay, when am I supposed to call them? And on that date, I will get a reminder, a pop-up reminder that says, hey, you're supposed to call this customer. As a manager, you can also see each sales rep, if they actually followed up on their codes or they did not. You can see the whole history of what happened with that. Or if we lose a sale, we just say we lost the sale. If you can also see how many of sales were lost by each salesperson. The other thing that you have is the source for each one of them, that you can specify the source, where they come from, and that way you can, at the end of the month, a year, or whatever, you can see, okay, how am I doing with whatever is coming through my internet ads? How am I doing with whatever I'm getting through the radio ad? how many of them are actually converting, how many leads I'm getting, and how many of them are becoming an actual sale. Payments and credits. One of the methods that you can use for payments for your customers, if you have a customer that they have a house account with you, they come today, they take the merchandise with them, and then later they come back and pay you. Then when they come back to pay you, you just say, okay, I'm here to, the customer is here to pay their balance. As soon as I enter the customer, it shows me all of their open invoices. This is my test customer, so they have a ton of open invoices. But anyway, I'm saying that how much they are paying today, how they are paying today. They can be paying by cash, or they can be swiping their credit card. I can do virtual card, which means I can just type in the credit card number on my machine, or finance company, or what have you, all of those different ways that you can do it, and then they can pay for their invoices. Writing appraisals, creating appraisals, just either you can type in the invoice number for the item that they just bought, you just want to type in the invoice number and write an appraisal for that, or you can say, okay, this customer, I'm writing an appraisal for them, type in here, and next is I can type this description here, as much description as I want, and then I can print it, or I can just send it out as email to them, or I can create a PDF for it. And again, if you want to, you can even have your signature printed directly electronically on this, so you don't have to sign it every time. Just save your signature one time, and that's it. It has your name and your logo and information. It has the customer information and whatever appraisal you wrote. When a customer comes back later, let's say 2 years later, you can always bring up whatever appraisals you wrote for them. Some companies prefer to have a statement of value instead of appraisals. We handle that also. Appraisals can also be auto-generated based on the details of the item that you put there. You can specify the list of all of the diamond and the emerald and whatever is in that piece based on the item card, and automatically populate it for you. Also the metal and stuff, and if you want to, you can adjust it yourself. But one time you set that up, and then that's it, you're done with that. We have a lot of reports. Part of them are here. List of items sold. What did I sell today? List of open orders. Which special orders are open that I have to take care of? Total sales per store. Total sales per salesperson. How is each one of my salespeople is doing? For example, I can come here and I can either say all my salespeople or pick a specific salesperson and then see how much they sold and all of the details of what they did here. Well, I picked all dates, so it's going to take it a while because I forgot to say just for last week or whatever. So, okay, here we go. So now it's showing me every sale that they did. If I want to drill down, I just double click on it. It shows me exact copy of the item, what it is that they sold. It shows me how much they sold, and also what was their share in case they were sharing it with another person. Also get total of how much cash I got today, how much credit card I got today per store. End of day summary that basically summarizes, the items that you sold in each store and also how much payments you got, all of those. We also have an app that you can use the app when you are not in the store to see how your store is doing. Basically, it's going to show you total sales per store and how much profit you made. It can be usually you want it for today, but if you want to see it for any other date, also it's available. Show it to me for the past 5 days, show it to me for the past year or whatever. Then you can say, break it down by the hour of the day or break it down by salesperson. Also see or check your inventory. If you do, I have such and such piece in stock or not, with a picture of it. And also see your total inventory and how it's doing. Again, all of these are in an app that you have on your phone with you. Our program runs on Windows platform. It also runs on Mac, on iPads, on Surface, all of those, it works. But on a phone, even though technically it could run, it's really not practical because of the size of the because of the size of the screen. So you'll end up scrolling back and forth. That's why we have the app. When you go to add a customer, you can add their name, their address, and also all of their birthday and anniversary and all of their special occasion. And then you can get a list of everybody who has a birthday coming up in the next 2 weeks and send them an email or a text. Hey, your anniversary is coming up, stop by, get this 5% coupon. Right from here, you can also see history of everything that they bought so far. This one customer, whatever they bought, you can see all of their appraisals. Add as much notes as you want. Also add their contact. Who is the wife? Who is the husband? Who is the girlfriend? Who is the son? Who is the daughter? All of them. There's unlimited number of telephone numbers and email addresses that you can have for each customer. See list of all of their repairs. See the list of their wish list. If you want to, also we can even run credit report on them. We connect to TransUnion, and we can run credit report on them, get you their, the whole history of the credit and credit score, so on and so forth. Setting up customers who have a statement, who have open credit with you, set them up with a credit limit, and also set them up with finance charge, monthly finance charge, if you want to charge them monthly finance charges. Also add prospects. Prospects are customers who are not your customers yet. They did not make a purchase. You gather their information, name, address, email address, whatever, and you keep track of their wish list. When they make a purchase, all of that history goes into your into your customer. They become a customer. Print list and labels. If you want to get all of the customers who are in a specific who made a purchase in a specific period of time, get a list of all the customers who bought emerald necklaces from me. Get me all of the customers of certain salesperson. Again, you can get a list. You can either get email addresses and email them. You can text them or just print labels or export it to something so you can manipulate it any way you want. You also keep track of warranties and extended service plans if you want to offer them. It can be either through a company like Jewelers Mutual, or if you do it through your company, you can also have your own store warranty. You can specify that they have to bring it back for inspection at least once every 6 months, for example, for the warranty to be valid. And then anytime they bring it back, you go there and you say, hey, these people are here for warranty inspection. You inspect it. Either you decide, okay, I have to send it for repair, in which case we add a repair job bag for it so we can keep track of it, or you just mark it that this repair, that they did their inspection, so we are good for another 6 months or what have you. Adding an item into the inventory, either you can do it manually or you can import it from Excel. Basically, if you have all the information in Excel, you just import it from an Excel. The first thing that you have is this asset or memo? What type of an item is it? I mean, do I own it, or is it long-term memo, short-term memo? Next is this a diamond? Is this a jewelry, or what is it? Then it's brand or collection, David Yorman, Gabriel & Company, what have you. Then there's sub-brand, if you have one. None of this information, by the way, is mandatory. You decide how much information you want to enter, but the more info you enter, of course, the better search result you get. All of these drop downs are not fixed drop downs. You decide what values you want. For example, in your item type, you can have giftware, you can have watches, what have you. Category and the subcategory and the type of a metal, what's the finger case, finger size, or the length of the chain. If you prefer to know which showcase number it is in, you can specify the showcase number. End of the day, we show you how many pieces are supposed to be in each showcase. It's a way of quickly checking your inventory, making sure nothing is missing. Disclaimer, for example, any lab-grown diamond, you want to have them that it prints a certain specific terms and conditions for that. So you just create them one time, and then you come here and you say, okay, this is the disclaimer I want to print for this item, and you can have as many of them as you want. Descriptions, either enter them manually or we can automatically generate it for you. For example, and you decide how you want it to be created. For example, you say first show my metal, so it's going to be 18 karat engagement ring, and then whatever, and then the gold weight and what have you again. Or you can, as I said, you can manually enter it, who you bought it from, and what is their item number. Okay. Tagging, you can have unlimited number of different tag templates. You decide what prints on each tag. For a 3-stone engagement ring, for example, you decide I wanted to print the diamond information. For a chain, you wanted to print the length and the metal, for example. Then your cost, how much did I pay for it? If I had to pay any other taxes and duties, and also if I added any stones or what have you, so it comes up for the total here. Then you have the replacement cost. Let's say I bought it at a good price, but really the replacement cost for it is more, or what have you. You can do that. Then either we calculate the selling price for you based on the multiplier that you specify, or you can manually enter it. Set up a minimum price so that if anybody tries to sell it for below that price, they have to have a special code to override this minimum price. Otherwise, system will not allow that. Taking a picture, either you can take it from your computer if you have the picture on the system, or you can capture it from the webcam. Just basically take it, and again, you can have multiple pictures for an item. We also have a service that for certain vendors, you can just, as soon as you enter their vendor code and you enter the vendor item number, we can download the pictures from the vendor. We can also download the information about it, the category and the subcategory and description based on whatever the vendor has described. So we can, so it will save you again time. If it's a diamond, just come over here, specify it, and then if it's certified, you can specify what the cert type is. This is a GIA, and this is the report number. I click on Retrieve Cert. We connect to GIA's servers, and we download all of the information for you, which means what's the shape, what's the color, clarity, the weight, the millimeter depth and symmetry, and all of that. We download it. You don't have to enter it. We also we download a copy of the certificate, so that you can either view it on your machine or you can email it to your customer, what have you. Each item can have up to 2 certs, and they're different certs. The ones that we download the information from currently are GIA, EGL, IGI, and AGS. If there are other cert types that you want to be added, we are open to adding them. We can do that for you. Also connect to wrap price, and then as wrap prices get updated, we will update your wrap discount. How is your price compared to the list price currently? If you create a piece yourself, then you can come here and just enter all the details. Okay, I say that I used diamond round 1 characters. This is how many pieces, that was the weight. This is the unit cost, how much I paid for it. And this goes into my stones. Then I paid this much for labor and this much for the labor. So at the bottom, we calculate it for you, and we calculate your total, your total cost. The list is unlimited. Now, you can also specify if you took, let's say, the diamond from your inventory, then you just specify the lot number for that diamond and deduct it from inventory. Then you look at your diamond list. You can say, I only want to see what's in stock, or you can say, I also want to see if it's mounted. Let's say I mounted this diamond on an engagement ring. Engagement still is in-house. So we can say, do I want to see this diamond that was mounted? Yes or no, and then you can see that. History shows you when you received the piece and when you sold it, when it was returned, so on and so forth. Inventory shows you each store, which stores have it. If let's say this store doesn't have it, each other store has it, sales shows all of the sales. And notes, you can add as many notes as you want for an item, and with the timestamp, cost and price history. If you change the cost or the price of this piece, you can always see what the cost and price was for this throughout the years. If there's a document also that relates to this, you can also just attach them and see them here. We also have what's called attributes. These attributes, you name them whatever you want to name them. Let's say you want to know what the country of origin is for a piece, and you ask me, hey, how do I put the country of origin? So we tell you, you can name this thing as country of origin, and then add the drop-down values. So it can be, I don't know, Mexico, India, whatever, and then you pick for them, and you can search by them. You can also say that this engagement rig, for example, what types it takes, what type of head it takes. If this one takes a square and round, so whenever you're looking for a square or round, this will come up. If you also buy stuff in partnership, you can enter here who the partner is and what percentage is your share, what percentage is their share, and are you only partnering in profit or the wholesale price. Okay. Other things that can be done is that you can check mark, I want this item on the website. We connect to your website. Shopify, definitely we do. We also connect to other websites. We can talk about it so that your website gets updated based on whenever you add an item here, it will show up on your website automatically. And when you make a sale, the sales can show up in your system. We also support RFID, regular tagging, and also RFID we support. If you are interested in, we can talk about that. Checking your store inventory. Come here, just type in here your, say, you know, I want to see all my jewelry. I want to see all my giftware. I want to see all items from WJewel. I want to see all the necklaces from WJewel. I want to see 18-karat necklaces for WJewel, or what have you. Once you do it, then items show up here. The picture of each item is here. It shows you this item, I have it in store Albany. This item, I have it in Albany and New York. This item is on a layaway. So I can just double click on it and see all the layaways for it. Allocated means somebody bought this and it's in shop until they come and they pick it up. Again, I can double click on it to see if it's out on memo, I can also see that. If an item you sent from one store to another, we consider it in transit. We sent it from store 1 to store 2, so the item is in transit until store 2 acknowledges that they received it. At that point, it gets added to store number 2. The idea is that, again, items, it doesn't come up that 6 months from now, store 1 says I sent it, store 2 says I didn't receive it. They have to acknowledge that I received it. You see that when it all of the different details here. And if you want to just jump into the item cart, just double click on here and you get to the item cart. These salespeople, you can set them up so we can access all of these menus and they can see all the information, but the cost details. Okay, they can see your inventory, but they won't be able to see the cost. For each user, in addition, you can set it up which options they can and they cannot see. It's a very simple menu. You can say that this person, I want them to make an invoice, but I don't want them to be able to delete an invoice. Only certain people can delete an invoice, or any other thing that you want. Physical inventory, every 6 months, you come here, you scan the items, and you decide, and we show you if anything is missing. So we can check it. Excel, we export everything into Excel. We can also import inventory details and customer list and a lot of other things from Excel also. Connecting to the web and to the RAPNet, it's all here. We also do registry, bridal registry. If you are interested in, again, I can say in more details. Tagging, as I said, you can have as many different tag templates, what prints on the tag as you wish. We do barcoded tag and regular tags, accounts payable. Our system is a complete accounting module. You can add a consignment, and when you add the consignment, right from here, we add the stuff. If it's an existing item that you bought more of them, then you just add it to the same item. If it's a unique piece, then you can add it. Even if you buy the same model number 10 times, each one of them will assign them a specific serial number. You can see the details of that exact item number, how much you paid for it, when you sold it, when you bought it, all of that details. But you can also see based on the model number, okay, I had 10 of these, how many of them I sold, and how many of them are, aged, so on and so forth. Anyway, you get a consignment, you enter all the details of the consignment, you can import it from an Excel sheet if you have the details from Excel sheet, and then it gets added to that vendor. Right from here, you can print the tags if you want to. These items that I just received, add them, print the tags for me. You can also distribute to stores. I just received 50 pieces on this one consignment, 20 of them sent to store 1, 30 of them, whatever, many of them sent to store 2, and the rest of them for now stays with me until I later decide what to do. We also do what's called guaranteed buy. In case you have contract with some of your vendors that I'm going to take $1 million worth of consignments from you. At the end of the year, I guarantee I'll buy at least 60% of them. You can say that this is part of the guaranteed buy, and that way you can always see where you stand with this. Okay, we are 6 months in the year. How much consignments did I get from them? How much of it did I tell them to invoice me? So you know where you stand with that. Once the item are sold, you can ask the system to give you a list of consignments that you sold, so we can send it to the vendor. Bill me for these. I sold these items, bill me for them. When they bill you for it, then you can enter their bill. Now it's an accounts payable thing, but it's not on consignment anymore. Now you own it. You may have it or not have it, but now you have to pay them. See the vendor statement, see the aging report, how much you owe people, how late you are, and also write checks from our system or specify that you are paying them by your credit card. If you return something, get the credit for that, or if you are getting credit, let's say, for whatever reason, you can do that also. One of the things that happens is that you get items on memo, and later on, the price of the items either goes up or goes down. You renegotiate the prices, either goes up or down. So you come to the consignment price change, you enter the items. Okay, these items from this vendor, I need to change the prices. We show you the current price, $1,000. You enter the new price, and it does that for you. Banking is keeping track of your checkbook, how much money you have in the bank. As you write checks, it gets deducted. You can add the fees and adjustments there. You also deposit checks, and you can also deposit all of the credit card payments that you received or the money that you're supposed to get from a finance charge. The idea is, again, that when you, to make sure that if you are owed money from the financing company, for example, you do receive it from the financing company. At the time of setting up the payment type, you can also say that, first of all, I require this to be deposited. The second thing that you say is that what is the percentage that the provider is going to deduct this. For example, if I have Wells Fargo 12 months, they are going to deduct 3% before giving it to me. And if it's a Wells Fargo 6 months, they're going to deduct 2%. So we can specify all of that. We also do pawn shop loans, keeping track of the pawn shop loans. If you are interested in that, we can take a look at that. There are also a lot of features that we have done that are available, but you can ask for them. For example, if you want your prices to go up and down every day based on gold price of the day, you can specify that. You can specify the label for each item, and then each day we get the gold. Either you enter the gold price of the day, or we enter the gold price of. We get it for you from the web, and you say the label for this piece is $10. So we adjust the price every day for you. You also have something called the kitty plan that some companies use. Customer makes 12 payments, and then you give them credit for a 13th month. All of that is there. Cash register is keeping track of the money in each cash register. You start with $200 in the day. This is how much money it came in, that's how much it went out. And at the end of the day, it has to be accounted for what happened to it. Keeping track of your employees, not only for commission, but hourly employees also. They punch in, they punch out, and we calculate the number of hours they worked, and we calculate their gross pay. Financials, general ledger, trial balance, income statement, balance sheet, chart of accounts, all of that in the system. Next, we have reporting. There's a lot of reporting, comparing sales of this year to last year, comparing, let's say, earrings, $500 to $1,000 as opposed to $1,000 to $3,000, which one is better? There's a report called GM or GEMROI. Those who know about it, they swear by it. Anyway, so we can see what's the score for each one of them. Vendor style performance, you can see how am I doing with each vendor's items, how many of them do I have, and how much return on investment I have on each one of them. Aged inventory is what are the items that I've had in the stock more than 30 days, more than 6 months, more than whatever. So we can see what you need to do about them. Sales by sales rep, how much they sold, what is their commission, how much of each brand they sold, total sales by state and in state and out of state in case you have to pay their taxes differently. We do calculate sales taxes either directly, you just say, okay, in New Jersey, sales tax is 7%. In certain other places, like in California, it goes by the county, we calculate it based on that. Certain other places, it's luxury tax, which means based on the item dollar amount, the rate varies, and we handle all of that. There are also companies that for shipping out of a state and keeping track of it, after a certain amount of sales in a state, they need to keep track of it. We need to start collecting sales tax for, let's say, if you ship to, I don't know, Georgia more than $50,000, then you have to start collecting tax. You can also take care of that. So sales and profit either show each and every item that you sold, and then the profit for each one, or show sales and by salesperson, by store, compare this year to last year, all of those. Admin section, setting up, see who made an invoice, who deleted the invoice, who modified an invoice, all of those, and set up a whole bunch of other things, which I don't want to bore you with. Some of the other features that you may be interested in knowing that I may have, you may or may not care about some of them, but anyway, so if we have a mobile app, I mentioned that you can access your information from outside. They handle multi-currency. If you want to get paid part in US dollars, part in Canadian dollar, part in Japanese yen, we let you do that. System can be cloud-based or it can be based on your server. It's your choice which way you prefer. Again, we can do it cloud-based, you can do it your own server, doesn't make a difference. Scanning a driver's license, your customer walks in, scan the driver's license. We have integration with Shopify, with Salesforce. We have a mini CRM in our system that keeps track of customers and when you're supposed to call them and all the notes with them. But if you also prefer to integrate with Shopify, allow for that. We also integrate with BIG, the Buyer Intelligence Group, so that you send them information and they contact to your system. Looking for your inventory using the keyword, just type in the word leaf and we find you any piece of jewelry that has a leaf as category or description, what have you, we find it for you. Keeping track of the amount of sales by hour of the day and hour of the day per week, that you can decide, okay, Wednesday from 2 to 4 is not that busy, but Saturday from, I don't know, 1 to 2 is busy. So based on that, you decide on that. Limit a salesperson to see only one store's information, or they can see all of the store's information. And then splitting a commission, we talked about that. And again, connected to GIA, EGL, IGI, EGS. We also have it in multiple languages, English, Spanish, Turkish, French, German, Italian. We have so far. We are open to adding more languages if anybody cares. All right. One of the questions that I get asked very often is, what is the difference between your POS and other systems? The big difference, let's say, between us and the Edge, which happens to be a very popular system, is that our system is based on a more current technology. We both do more or less the same things. I mean, you might have found some stuff that we do that they may not do, but more or less is the same thing. But the first difference is that we use a more modern technology. The second one is that our training is always unlimited. We don't tell you that when you buy our systems, you get 3 hours, and if you need more hours, now you have to pay for them extra. We have tech support 7 days a week, 20 hours a day. We happen to have customers all the way from Australia to Hawaii, so we are open 20 hours a day. 95% of our calls are replied to in 30 minutes. When you call us, most of the time we can resolve the issues immediately. The other difference is that we don't force you to use whoever we tell you about the your website. You don't have to go with our web development. We connect to any website that you want. If you want, we can create a website for you. But if you have your own website, that's fine. We connect to it. We are open to customizing our software to fit your needs any way that you need it. We can import your data from any platform, including the edge. Let's say you say I have 20 years of sales data and customer information and inventory. I don't want to have to re-enter all of that or lose that. That's fine. We will import it for you. We have a whole bunch of different customers that I can send you to talk to who have come to us from the edge and who have come to us from all the other, POS systems that you may know. We have been in this business for 36 years, and we only do jewelry software. We have worked with a lot of companies that you probably have heard of them, and some of them have used us for more than 30 years. Some of the names that you may recognize are Gabriel & Company, Paramount Gems, Eskashi. We have over 1,000 customers. I'm not going to name all of them. We are currently in more than 600-700 stores. Our software is, and we are rapidly growing. You are welcome to talk to any of our customers and ask them about us or read our reviews on the internet. If you ask me about what's the difference between WJewel and Lightspeed, etc., I will tell you that our software was built from ground up for the jewelry industry. That's the only thing that we do. We did not create a POS, general POS, and then tweak it a bit and say, now it's jewelry software. No, it's not. I hope that you recognize that it's completely that. 37 years, since 1986, we have been doing only jewelry software, and our after-sales support is just as good as our before. And again, we import any information that you want from them. If there are any questions, I am open to questions.
Okay, thank you so much. That was, Javid, that was a ton of information, which I think, I think you answered all the questions in your presentation, including one that we had gotten ahead of time. So thank you for that. I'll just give the folks a minute if anybody does have any questions, and then we'll wrap things up. But seeing none, I think that we can just go ahead and move on. I'm going to go ahead and include your, just see if I can do this. Sorry. I'm sharing your website in the chat so that people can go there for more information if they'd like.
Sure.
And again, thank you so much for participating in today's supplier showcase. Thanks again to WJewel. And as previously noted, the recording of this session will be available within the next few days. Coming up next in our webinar series will be Jewelers of America and National Jewelers pre-Vegas webinar on May 16th. So definitely plan on attending that to hear all you need to know before you go. You can view JA's full schedule of upcoming webinars and previous recordings on jewelers.org. And I'm going to go ahead and drop a link to our upcoming schedule in the chat. There we go. And thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Javid. I hope everybody has a great day. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.